Okay. So we're gonna go through the day of the Lord, right? Now we know, matter of fact, what do y'all know just on a broad spectrum about the day of the Lord? Christianity will have you believe that the day of the Lord is like full of hugs and kisses, right? But what do y'all know about the day of the Lord? Go ahead, Sister Izzy.
The day of the Lord is fire and brimstone. It's going to be where the judgments come down on us, you know, where we have been proven all this time, and to see if we don't make it or not. Off with our heads or keep your heads on, basically. In ghetto terms, y'all.
Hmm. God.
Isn't it the same day that God is gonna bring the heaven here?
No,
No? Okay. Well, that was a good question.
but I know where you're coming from. I know where you're coming from. I know what you're talking about. Uh, Isaiah 2 and 12. Yeah, good script, sis. Yeah, I already know what you're coming from. I'm gonna bring that up too, sis Amina. Bring that up. Um, all right, the day of the Lord is gonna have to do with judgment. All right. So let's give a time frame. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30, and we'll start at verse 6. And I think we'll go to, yeah, we'll start at verse 6 and we'll go to verse 9. Yeah. God, God. All right. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 6 says, and ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. All right, there's two things I want to touch on. One, the one, Jacob's trouble is before the day of the Lord. That starts before the day of the Lord. Jacob's trouble starts before. All right. That's one thing. Okay. Jacob's trouble will merge into the day of the Lord. That's why it says, and I will burst thy bonds. The strangers shall no more serve themselves. I will break his yoke from off thy neck. You see what I'm saying? So during the day of the Lord is when Jacob's trouble will end. It's not going to end before it, it's going to end during it. Okay. And I'll give y'all some precepts to understand that. Another thing, verse 9 says, but they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. I've heard of Old Testament brothers try to explain this verse, and it is completely crazy. What does that mean to y'all? To serve the Lord and David? but they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them.
Is Jacob's trouble?
Say that again.
Sorry, Salakia.
So yes, Sister Nazia, it's Yahushua. Remember, Yahushua is the seed of David.
Oh.
So when it says, and David their king, it is speaking of the seed of David. Remember, David, the promise to David, he'll always have rulership on the throne. From the tribe of Judah goes all the way down to Yahushua, so on and so forth. All right. I said that Jacob's trouble will merge into the day of the Lord. Let's get Zechariah 13. Verse 8 and 9. All right, so Jacob's trouble is before and merges into the day of the Lord. So Zechariah 13, verse 8 and 9 says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. Continue on to chapter 14 and start at verse 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. The reason I said just continue on is because remember, these are scrolls. There is no chapters and verses when this is happening. All right. So when it's speaking of the 2/3 being cut off in the land, so on and so forth, it merges right into the day of the Lord. This is how you know that Jacob's trouble is still present until then. And thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee, for I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. This is in the day of the Lord, right? So Jacob's trouble is continuing on. And the city shall be taken, and the house rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth in captivity. And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord, then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. Then shall the Lord fight against those nations. Y'all understand that? So you have the Jacob's trouble, and it's merging into the day of the Lord, and then he fights for Israel. You understand that? This is why scripture says that you have to endure to the end. You see what I'm saying? Let's get another one. Let's go Amos 5. 5 and 18 through 24. Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you that the day of the Lord is darkness and not light? What end is it to you? Are you righteous? Are you following the Most High? See, don't think that because the Most High is for Israel that you're just going to be carried away. No, there's stipulations. There's stipulations. You have to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You have to have faith in Yahweh. You got to be for your people. You know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff applies. You know what I mean? All this type of stuff applies. So if you're requesting the day of the Lord, how is it going to turn out for you the way you live your life right now? Just think of that. You know what I'm saying? How's it going to turn out for you right now? If the day of the Lord, if the day of the Lord, if we're in the day of the Lord, matter of fact, no, I ain't going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But if the day of the Lord comes, how's it going to turn out for you? All right. We'll keep going. Verse 19, as if a man died, flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Don't think you safe, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Don't think you safe. You still have to endure to the end. You still have to continue on. You still got to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Don't walk around being like, oh, I'm a good person. I don't even know what that means. Nor does the Most High. And nor does Yahweh because he said no one is good, right? So there's an order to this. You know what I'm saying? Verse 20, shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? I despise your feast days, and I would not smell in your solemn assemblies. That goes back to, I'm not going to pull the precept, but that goes back to Isaiah chapter 1, when he says, I hate your solemn days, right? Because of the things we were sacrificing, the things we were worshiping, so on and so forth. So even in the day of the Lord, if you are following the things of America or Babylon or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Your feast days and your sacrifices mean nothing to him. Right? Verse 22, though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. The noise of thy songs, I'm not going to dig into that too much because that actually kind of goes into a lot. But remember this, Israel will sing a new song. I don't know if some of y'all remember that scripture, but Israel will sing a new song. You see what I'm saying? That goes into that. Before the new song, I don't want to hear your song. See what I'm saying? I'm not sure if it's Deuteronomy 32, sis. Yeah. You're right. Yep. Song of Moses. Yep. You're right. And it goes into Revelation. That's when it talks about the new song. And it goes into the book of Psalms when it speaks of the new song. So yeah, you're right, sister. Nazia. Yep. Um, verse 24. But let judgment run down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. So we know that this day of the Lord is going to come into judgment. The reason I started at Jacob's trouble is because that is not the day of the Lord. That starts before that. Starts before the day of the Lord. All right. And it's going to merge into it. And then we will get pulled from the day of the Lord. That is how Jacob's trouble is going to be. we will get we will get pulled from the day of the Lord because salvation is for Israel. And remember, this is judgment. Day of the Lord is going to have to, you know what? I'm not going to jump ahead of myself. Let's go to First Peter chapter 4 and verse 17. First Peter chapter 4, verse 17 says, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God." We get judged first. So when he pulls us out, so the day of the Lord, when he pulls us out, our judgment has already been happening. Y'all understand that? Um, Jacob's trouble, when we are merging into the day of the Lord and he pulls us out of the day of the Lord, our judgment had already been happening because judgment begins at the house of God. We get judged first. Our judgment will start from Jacob. And then when you start to go, and then you see the day of the Lord, we're merging into that too. And then he's going to pull us from that. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? So this goes for it. This applies to Israel too. Because remember, 2/3 got to be cut off. So this applies to people that are Israel that is not following the Most High. Yep, we'll go through that too. Sister Briar or the brother Vic is saying, what will judgment be like for those who don't keep laws and commandments? And Naziyar said pretty much the same thing. What is considered judgment? And we'll go through that because you'll see what the day of the Lord looks like. All right. Let's get what I say. Judgment begins at the house of God, right? Let's get Ecclesiastes 12 and verse. We'll go to 13 and 14. We use this precept all the time. You know what I'm saying? At least verse 13. We use this all the time. But a lot of people don't continue on to what it's saying. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 says, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil." You're going to get judged regardless. You're going to get judged by the law, whether you keep it or whether you don't. It don't matter. That's not up to you. I don't care whether you think you're a good person or not. It's not up to you how and what your measurement of judgment is. Remember, the canon means a measurement, which means that Bible is going to be your stipulations on how you are receiving judgment.
What's that scripture that says, like, what about those who didn't know the law?
It doesn't matter. I don't
Like,
know.
they're going to be judged by the law.
They're going to be
whether they know it or
judged.
not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they know it, whether they follow it. so on and so forth. That is the measurement, the canon. The canon is the Bible. So that is your measurement of how you are going to be judged. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 10. Chapter 10 and verse 34. Let me put this in red letter real fast. Why can't I do it? What is going on? Oh, there we go. Right. Matthew chapter 10, verse 34. And this is Yahushua speaking, right? Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. So for people in Christianity thinking that Yahushua is coming with hugs and kisses, he says himself, he's not coming for that. Remember, Yahushua is coming for judgment and vengeance, not what they think. You know what I'm saying? Not like how Christianity thinks. It doesn't work like that. God is not what you want him to be. He is. You're supposed to be what he wants you to be. Let's get the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 4. Book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 4 says, for he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. You see what I'm saying? So Paul understood that Yahushua is coming with vengeance and wrath. He's not going to wield his sword in vain. This is going to be a problem when he comes back. You see what I'm saying? For he's a minister of God. Remember, and this is, and y'all can add this to y'all Trinity doctrine. He's a minister of God. Minister means to serve or to teach. And if he's serving or teaching for God, that means he is not the Most High God. He's doing it for someone. You understand? Let's get Isaiah 66. So lucky if I'm going kind of fast, I just kind of want to get through it, or have enough time to get through it. You know what I mean? Isaiah 66, verse 15 and 16. Shalom, Jay. Shalom. Isaiah 66, verse 15 says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Y'all asked like what judgment is looking like and stuff like that. So we're kind of starting to get into it, you know what I'm saying? Like it has to do with destruction. It has to do with people dying. It has to do with people getting destroyed. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of stuff that it has to do with. Yahushua, when he comes back, man, he's not playing. Judgment comes from disobedience and vengeance. So just think of that concept when you're trying to figure out what judgment looks like. Y'all understand what I'm saying? It's coming from disobedience and vengeance. All right. Let's get Psalms 94. Verse 1 and 2. Book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 1 says, O Lord God, to whom vengeance belongeth, O God, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. All right. It says to the proud, right? Render a reward. Let's see if this actually gives it to me. Okay, yeah, reward. When you go into the Hebrew, it's Gemuel, if I'm saying that right. Gemuel. Y'all know I got a speech impediment or something. All right, but reward means dealing or recompense or benefit. By implication, service or requital. Benefit, deserving that which he hath given recompense, reward. When we look at reward in the English language, we think that that's a benefit all the time. Whenever you see reward in scriptures, it's not always beneficial. It could be to your destruction. I could reward you with death. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I could reward you that I just slaughtered your whole family with the news of slaughtering your family. You see what I'm saying? So reward does not always mean how we look at it in the English. It's not how it works. So render a reward to the proud, that is a bad thing. It's not something good. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the precept. Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32 and 35. Deuteronomy 32 and 35 says, To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. See what I'm saying? The Most High already has it laid out. He knows he's going to punish who he's going to punish, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is a day of vengeance and for disobedience. This is why some of Israel will get cut off, because there's your disobedience. Other nations, there's your vengeance. Even some of Israel, because they gave us up and stuff like that and turned on us and all types of stuff. But yeah, it has to deal with vengeance and disobedience. Right. you know, we have to understand the judgment comes all around. Like I said, it's going to start at the house of the Lord. So Israel gets judged first. All right. So when we think we're safe because we're Israelites, no, don't trick yourself, because it's going to start with us first. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 10, verse 30. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 30 says, For we know him that hath said, Vengeance belongeth unto me. I will recompense, saith the Lord. Again, the Lord shall judge his people. If you want precepts like that, the law to where this belongs is the one we just read in Deuteronomy 32. Whenever scripture says, it is said, or he had said, or thus saith the Lord, or it is written, that means it's probably somewhere in the Old Testament. All right. So now all you got to do is find it and understand that Paul or the writer of Hebrews or Peter or, something like that, the things that they're using when it says that. Yes. Brian Vic, yes. Um, yeah, whenever it says that, this is how you have an understanding that what they're teaching is in the Old Testament. So this is how you kind of can see that the Old Testament is not done away with. This is what they're teaching. See what I'm saying? Salakia, real fast. You can speak real fast. Or Jay, you can speak real fast. Let me run real fast.
Sorry, I can't speak. I'm eating.
Where was he at? What was it called? Anybody got the last script peel off at?
Let me see.
Hebrews 10 and 30.
Hebrews 10 and 30. All right, water.
Ayanda bar.
Nope, his notes don't make no sense to me.
He doing all about judgment. All right, this is Hebrews 10, verse 31. And it reads, "It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God." So, like, to go on to what he was talking about, I believe his class is about judgment, correct?
It's about the day of
It's
the
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 Lord.
day
day
of the
of the
Lord.
Lord.
Oh, okay. So it's about the day of the Lord. So we know with the day of the Lord is multiple days. It's just not one singular event. So like we can, well, I don't know where he's going with it, so I don't want to go down a whole nother rabbit hole that he might not be going through. But just like some examples of the day of the Lord is just like if you go to Isaiah, and once Israel was judged and Babylon came to get the came to get Judah, that was like a day of the Lord. That was um one instance of the day of the Lord. You back, Mike? You got it?
Con,
Because I don't know
con,
where
con.
yeah, I don't know where you was going with your class. I was just giving the examples. They said that your class is based off the day of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was just giving an example in Isaiah and Jeremiah, where one day of the Lord was once Babylon came and got the southern kingdom. That was considered the day of the Lord. But I'll let you pick back up where you was at.
Con, you're right. Like you're saying that the day of the Lord didn't happen once.
Um,
Con. All right. But you gotta, like I said, I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna get that heavy on y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just kind of give you an outline. Because those days are behind us. So now we're looking to the day of the Lord that is to come. Right? We left off at Hebrews 10 and 30. where vengeance belongeth to the Lord, right? Let's go to
Uh,
Romans chapter.
10 and 31, I believe that was.
No, 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 I ended at 30.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
All right. Do
let's go
you
to
need
Romans.
a reader or are you good?
Yeah, you can read for me. Go ahead. I
Where are
need
you at?
Romans chapter 12, verse 19.
In the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 19.
Uh,
And it reads, Dearly beloved, avenge not yourself, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is, but it is written, Vengeance is mine. I will repay, said the Lord.
okay, so he says that all the way back in the book of Genesis. Remember, who was Simeon and Levi? They took vengeance for Dinah, right?
Yeah.
And they were actually, they were actually kind of punished for that because vengeance isn't ours to take. If someone, and I know this is far-fetched and this is going to sound harsh and it's going to be hard to deal with. If someone murders your child and you want to take vengeance, it's not yours to take. Now, I know that some of us might want to react and some of us might want to be like, oh, nah, hell no. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, it's not yours to take. That's where Simeon and Reuben went wrong. It wasn't theirs to take. You see what I'm saying? So vengeance is the most high. Right now, we know what our people struggle with and what our people go through all the time. You know what I'm saying? With dealing with other nations and everything, right? But and we might want to slap a Edomite across their head. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because now is not that time. There's a time and a season for everything. Remember? You know what I'm saying? So now is not that time. You know what I'm saying? The Most High will take that vengeance. I believe there's a scripture that he will walk his enemies in front of you or something like that. Just paraphrasing, but it's in the Apocrypha. Um, you know what I mean? Like we try to put things into our own hands and he already has a plan laid out. Stop deterring from the plan and just follow suit.
It's like one scripture where he tells him if you go up there, I'm not with you.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? In the book of Numbers. But they denied it first. That was the problem. All right. Uh okay, let's go Matthew chapter 24. 24 and 36.
24 and 36. All right, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 36. And it reads, But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
So he doesn't know when Yahweh Shai doesn't know when this is gonna kick off. You see what I'm saying? He's gonna be told. This is another one that can help y'all Trinity doctrine to destroy y'all Trinity doctrine. He is not all knowing. Yahweh Shai is not all knowing. Only the Father is. Okay. But when he comes back to take vengeance and stuff like that, he doesn't know when. He's going to be sent by the Father. All right. uh, I think we got, what is that? Second Peter that goes with that. Second Peter. Why is this not getting out of my way? I can't stand this, man. What the? This stupid bar. All right. Second Peter 3 and 10.
This is the book of Second Peter, 3 and 10, and it reads, But that day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works there are therein shall be burned up.
All right. So day of the Lord will come as a thief of the night, right? If he don't know, then it's definitely gonna come as a thief in the night. The only way that we know is if we're paying attention to the times, the events that's going on, and we're following the law, statutes, and commandments and having faith in Yahushua. This is the only way we have an idea of when he may come, but we can never pinpoint that time. He can't even pinpoint that time. You see what I'm saying? And then when he comes, it is fervent heat, and the works therein shall be burnt up. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, the day of the Lord comes with vengeance, destruction, the sword. You see what I'm saying? This is going to be crucial. You know what I mean? And it's going to be rough. Ain't gonna be no walk in the park like people think, like Christianity thinks, and think it's all good. And when they see Yahushua come in the sky, they're just gonna go walk up and give him a hug. That's not happening. Let's get Revelation chapter 19.
This is the book of
19.
Revelation 19,
Go 11 through 16.
verse 11 through 16, and it reads, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. His
Khan,
eyes,
see right there, right there, he's gonna judge and make war. Remember, the dragon already is making war with the saints. So there's your vengeance. You see what I'm saying? And he's going to judge according to that book. You see what I'm saying? That book, that canon, is where that judgment is going to come in. And he's going to make war with the people outside of that book, whether you're Israel or whether you're other nations. Go ahead, Jay. You had something?
no, I was going to continue once you was ready.
Oh,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
got
Go
you.
ahead. Go ahead. Verse 12.
All right, verse 12, and it reads, his eyes was a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahweh.
Salagi.
And
Why is his vesture dipped in blood? Because of the slaughter. You see what I'm saying? Because of the slaughter, because of the war. You see what I'm saying? Remember, John is seeing all this. This is being given to John. You know what I'm saying? So he gets an understanding of what is going on. You know what I'm saying? So when he's telling you that when Yahushua comes back, it's war, judgment, and after those things, his vesture is dipped in blood, which means he's covered in it. This is destruction. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, Jay.
and he was clothed with with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahweh. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And
Kalagi.
out of his
Those armies is twofold. You have armies as far as like I don't know what's the word, Jay? Celestial angels? Is that the word?
it's celestial is earthly, and terrestrial, I believe, is otherworldly, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay. You know, I always get those confused. So, all right. But either way, you have both. Okay. So you have so-called heavenly angels, and then you have earthly Okay. Clothed in fine linen. The more you go through Revelations, you'll understand who's clothed in fine linen. Those are the people that are chosen. You see what I'm saying? Those are the people that is with the Most High, who was given that garment. You see what I'm saying? And I believe you can actually see that. Um, you can see it in multiple scriptures, but to be more specific, you can see someone actually receiving a white robe. Um,
I believe that's Revelation 7, where they received the white robe.
no,
Is that
no,
what
no,
you're
no,
looking
no.
for?
I want where Joshua the priest received.
Okay. Is that in Haggai?
No,
Let
it's
me,
not Hag. It shouldn't be Hag. No, 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 no. I don't think it's Hag.
hold on, let me see. I know what you're talking about because it's around that area.
Right. It's Zechariah.
Uh,
Zechariah chapter 3.
Zechariah 3. 3 and what?
Yeah. I mean, could start at verse 3.
3 and 3.
Just to give y'all an example, you know what I mean? I didn't even put this in my notes, it just made me think of it. But yeah, start at verse 3 and
Uh, this is the book of Zechariah, chapter 3, verse 3, and it reads, Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garment and stood before the angel. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, Take away the filthy garment from him. And unto him he said, Behold, I have caused thine iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with change of raiment. Salakia. And I said, Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So they set a fair mitre upon his head, and clothed him with garment. And the angel of the Most High stood by. And the angel of the Most High protested unto Joshua, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, If thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house, and shalt also keep my courts, and I will give thee a place to walk among these that stand by.
Con, you can stop right there. You see what I'm saying? So Joshua's garments was changed from filthy to a clean garment. You see what I'm saying? So when you go back here to Revelation, like we was at, the ones clothed in fine linen, that has to deal with us as well. All right. So don't think that it's just a whole bunch of what you say terrestrial angels that is fighting this battle. No, that's not what's going on. Also has to do with us. All right. Let's go back to Revelation 19 and 15. I think where you left off.
Ah, and it reads, Revelation chapter 19, verse 15, and it reads, And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty Yahweh.
Con. So the wine press, he treaded the wine press. You know, you ever been in the wine press or seen it? You know what I'm saying? In order for them to crush the grapes, they used to stomp on them. Nowadays, they have machines that squeeze everything out of them. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's talking about in the wine press. So when it's talking about his garment, his vesture is dipped in blood. When you're in a wine press back in the day and you're stomping all that out, all them grapes and stuff like that, that uh I guess you would say the color or whatever, the dye or whatever from the grapes is seeping up your garment. You see what I'm saying? And this is what's going on. So it's going to be so much um, destruction and so much judgment that the blood is going to seep up his garment. You see what I'm saying? So this is why the analogy of a wine press is being used. You know what I mean? Go ahead, verse 16.
At verse 16, and it reads, And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
King of kings and Lord of lords. Remember, he's our head. He's the head of the body. The King of Jerusalem, you know what I'm saying? The King of Israel, right? Lord of Israel, so on and so forth. We know the meaning of Lord, which means ruler. You know, he is the one in power. Huh? Let's get one more. Acts chapter 2, verse 19.
Uh, do you want me to throw them some precepts that go with that, what you just read?
No,
Just
no, I don't want
put
to.
in their
I don't
back
want to
pocket?
drag it. I don't want to drag it out. I mean, you could toss out the precepts,
Yeah,
but I
that's what
don't.
I'm saying. I ain't gonna read it. Just toss
Okay,
it
yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
you could toss them out. Yep.
Yeah, Isaiah 63 and 2. Read on down. And then
Oh, wait,
Revelation
wait, wait, wait.
14.
No, 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 because we're gonna go through
Oh, okay.
them.
Got you.
We're
All
gonna go
right.
through them anyway. As soon as you said it, I was like, wait.
Okay. Got you. Got you. That's why I asked. You
Got
said
it.
Acts what? Acts what?
Let's go 19 to 21.
Acts 2, 19 and 21. 19 through 21.
Come.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 19, and it reads, And I will show wonders in heaven above, and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and noble day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Keep
Come.
going.
And we know, no, 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 you can stop right there. Because
Okay.
y'all know the next verse is speaking of Israel calling on the name of the Lord. But to show when the day of the Lord is coming and stuff like that, it says there's darkness. The moon will be in blood. The day of the Lord is darkness. It's gloominess. It's dreadful. You see what I'm saying? This is a day of punishment. You know what I mean? This is a day of um, recompense and judgment. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, we'll give some precepts on the day of the Lord. Go to matter of fact, start at Ezekiel chapter 9, 5 through
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, starting at verse 5, and it reads,
time through 7.
5 to 7. All right. And it reads, And to the others he said, and my hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any
Stop,
men
stop
upon
right there, Ox. Stop right there. It say, neither have ye pity, slay utterly old, young, maids, children, and women. The Most High is not playing. So when Yahushua comes back, if you're on the wrong side of judgment, it's over for you. Ain't no getting away with that. Ain't no, but I'm a woman. Oh, it's a child. He's innocent. Ain't none of that. You know what I'm saying? There is none of that. He said slaughter all of them. Go ahead, Doc.
um slay utter old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. And being at my sanctuary, then
Begin.
they be I begin at my sanctuary, Salakia.
All right.
Then
So
they be
that goes with that 1 Peter 4. begin at my sanctuary. So it starts at the house of Israel, right? This slaughter starts at the house of Israel. But don't come near the ones who have the mark. If you are sealed by the Most High, it doesn't pertain to you. That part doesn't pertain to you. But it starts at Israel. Go ahead, read.
Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. And he said unto them, defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city.
And
And
flew
they
in the
came.
city. No, stop right there. And
Okay.
they flew in the city. You see what I'm saying? This is how judgment starts. Like I said, so when y'all are asking what judgment looks like, fire, brimstone, death, slaughter, this is what this is looking like. Women, kids, old people, young people, doesn't matter. This is what the judgment is looking like. All right. Now let's get into the day of the Lord, the actual day of the Lord. Let's go to Joel chapter 1, verse 15.
The book of Joel, he said, chapter 1 and 15.
Uh, did he go out?
No, I'm having a hard time trying to get to the book of Joel. So like, yeah. I was like, it's between Genesis and Revelation, right?
Oh, it,
Yeah,
he
like
said
all these pages.
it's after
After,
it's after Hosea.
after Hosea, all right, the water. Like all these pages are sticking together. Okay. After Hosea, appreciate it. And we said one, and what was that?
15.
Salakia. All right, this is the book of Joel, chapter 1, verse 15, and it reads, Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall come.
See, so like I said, destruction, you can stop right there. Jump to chapter 2, start at verse 1. But like I said, the day of the Lord has to do with destruction. Destruction, slaughter, vengeance, death. You know what I'm saying? Like this is all the stuff that comes with the day of the Lord. So we're looking forward to the day of the Lord. I hope that you're on the right side of the Lord. That's what you need to hope for if you're looking forward to the day of the Lord. A lot of us look forward to the destruction of this place and our captivity and stuff like that, but you better hope that you're on the right side of it. You know what I'm saying? You got to hope that you're on the right side of it. Go ahead, start verse 1.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, Blow ye the trumpets in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Keep going.
Read. Yep. Go to verse 3, and then we're going to jump down to 11.
Okay. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.
See what I'm
A
saying? So
fire,
the day of the Lord, so the day of the Lord is not rainbows and stuff. It is darkness and gloominess. You see what I'm saying? You ever walk through, you ever been like, I don't know, sad one day and it could be a bright day, but you just feel like it's a cloud over you. You know what I'm saying? This is how this is how this is. not including that he's going to make it actually literally dark, the moon being blood and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? Not including that, you know what I'm saying? But it's a day of dread and gloominess. You know what I'm saying? This ain't a fun day. Go ahead.
A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. And the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Ye and nothing shall escape them.
All
Drop
right, the
down to
land,
verse 11.
yeah, jump down to verse 11. But the land is as the Garden of Eden before them. So you can look ahead and see that there's righteousness, or you can see behind you and see that there's a desolate wilderness. Choose life or death. Moses gave us that option in Deuteronomy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Choose. You have something to look forward to, or you have something behind you that is dreadful. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Are you talking
So,
about keep reading or
so,
the question?
No. Hold on, Jay.
so you said that he's gonna judge us first.
Yeah.
And so will this be in the midst of the other nations?
Yes.
Wait, so like how does that look?
We're going through it now. So, like I said, so remember Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble is us, right? We got to
Okay.
deal with Jacob's trouble, right? Now we're dealing with Jacob's trouble. All this punishment, this torment, this judgment, so on and so forth, all the way merging into the day of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? The day of the Lord doesn't end our judgment. We continue into it, and he pulls us from the day of the Lord. That's why we read that in Jeremiah chapter 30. You see what I'm saying? He takes us out of that, but it merges at first. You see what I'm saying? We still are receiving our punishment.
Ready for verse
Con.
11?
There you go. There, transition. I know I said merge, but yeah, transition. Con. You know what I'm saying? So you're transitioning. That's why I say the day of the Lord is not like one day. You can't pinpoint it. It is a period of time. See what I'm saying? That answer your question, sis?
Khan, the water.
Con. All right, Jay, verse 11.
Verse 11, it reads, And the Most High shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that exceedeth his word. For the day
Execute.
of executed, Salakia, executed his word, for the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it?
Con. Day of the Lord is terrible, man. You know, scripture says that the Most High is terrible. You ever wonder why? Or how? You know what I'm saying? Look at the day of the Lord. You'll see how he shows that he's terrible. You know what I'm saying? Jump down to verse 30 to 32.
There's, you said, hold on,
Verse 30. Verse 30.
okay, this is chapter 2, Salakia.
No, yeah.
Verse 30, and it reads, And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come.
Read.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call.
There will be a remnant, right? There'll be a remnant Zechariah speaks of. Remember, 2/3 will be cut off, 1/3 will remain. There's going to be a remnant, of course. See what I'm saying? But remember, there's 2/3 that cut off. When we say, and I'm going to point this out, when we say that the whole book is about Israelites, I mean the whole book. The punishments, the curses, the day of the Lord, fire and brimstone, it is applied to us first. Remember that. So don't think because we have that bloodline that we're just excluded from all this. No, it applies to us first. When you look at the Bible and see that it's speaking of Israel all throughout, remember these things apply to you. Con. Let's go to chapter 3, verse 14.
The book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 14, and it reads, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the
Stop right
Lord
there.
is.
Stop right there. So, like, I should have had you start up. Start at verse 2.
Verse 2.
Con.
The book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2, and it reads, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have
Stop right there.
scattered among.
All right, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, right? How can I open this? Open the image, the tab. No. How do I make this bigger?
Picture?
Yeah,
Which one?
this. Okay. All right. This is the Valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. So, I don't like that picture. Let's see if we can find a better one. See, this pulls up some nonsense. See?
No, the picture.
Okay. All right, y'all see this? Valley of Jehoshaphat. This is Valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. It's in between the Mount of Olives. And here is Zion, so on and so forth, right? Valley of Jehoshaphat. This is where a lot of things is going to go down. Okay. Valley of Jehoshaphat is like a, what you call it, Jay? I said it's like it's dug in. It's like a
Yeah,
trench.
it's like a trench. That's the perfect word. Because it's like near
Yes.
the book. I think it's near the brook Kindred. Like I know it says Kindred right there. So it's like a ditch, like you said.
Right. It's like a ditch. It's like a trench. They used to throw their trash out here, um, stuff like that. Yeah, kind of like not a canyon, not as big, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you could kind of say that, so to speak, because it's beneath. You see what I'm saying? Um, so this is it right here. Like I said, they threw their trash, all these people right here, because there's homes and stuff like that right here. They threw their trash, their garbage, they filth, whatever out there. Like I said, this is Mount of Olives. It's in between. Okay. Now, when you actually, yeah, I think Priest has, yeah, or you know what? I think yeah, you're right. So, oops. Right. So it's in between. So this is where a lot of stuff is going to go down, right? Now, when you see this right here and right here, how it connects. All right. Jehoshaphat, I don't know if it's going to give it to me. From Mount of Olives, Israel. No. All right. So we know that it's going down in Jehoshaphat, right? Whom they have scattered amongst the nations. Now drop down to verse 14.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 14, and reads, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision.
So the valley of decision, okay, is called a sharp point, okay, a trench, a moat, or a ditch. All right. So when you look at Jehoshaphat, here's your sharp point right here. And Jehoshaphat is a valley or a trench or a ditch. So when it's speaking of the land of decision or the valley of decision, it's speaking of Jehoshaphat. This is where things are happening. And to get a precept, you could go to Isaiah chapter 2. No. Salaki. I don't even want that. Nope, we don't even have to do that. Let's go up to verse 12, because this is what verse 14 is speaking of.
And verse 12, and it reads, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathens round about.
God. See what I'm saying? So Jehoshaphat is that valley of decision, that sharp ditch. Okay. This is what this is going into. This is that area where things is happening. Okay. So when you're reading the book of Joel, he's speaking of the day of the Lord. See what I'm saying? This is what he's prophesying. When you're looking at, even if you think of something simple like Yahushua is in the volume of the book. If you're looking at who's doing these things, the day of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? It's already speaking of it. See what I'm saying? He's already being prophesied that he's going to do this. Does that make sense to y'all? And I'll go to it real fast, Jay. I'll give y'all a precept to show what I'm talking. Let me go back real fast. What was that? Joel 3, right? All right. Joel chapter 3, verse 14. All right. Valley of Decision, which is H2742. Okay. H2742. We know that that's a sharp trench, ditch, so on and so forth, right? If you go to Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 27. Isaiah 28 and 27. Boom. Oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah. 27 and 42, right? Which is the same as the Valley of Decision, which means sharp point, diligent, strict decision, trench, moat, so on and so forth, right? But the way it's used in Isaiah 28 and 27 is threshing instrument. Y'all see that? And like I said, when you're looking at Jehoshaphat, that is this sharp point, and this is where judgment happens. In this valley, in this trench. That makes sense to everybody? I don't know.
And I got you. Everybody quiet tonight, huh?
Right.
I'll speak for the people there, Kai.
I get it. I'm paying attention. That's why I'm like tuned in.
Cons, yes, soaking it
I'm
in,
so
taking my notes.
God, all
So
praise, y'all.
I'm sitting back
Cons.
too
Me
far.
too.
Yeah. I'm sitting back too
God.
far, leaning back.
All right. Give me Zephaniah 1:14 through 18.
He said Zephaniah what?
1:14 through 18.
All right, so like my bad. Zephaniah 1. And what was that? So again.
14 through 18.
All right, thank you. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1. I'll start at verse 14. And it reads, The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasty greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Hold on, I'll wait till you get back so he can break it down how he wants to break it down.
One moment, y'all.
Salaki.
You back? You ready?
Yeah, y'all know I be trying to drink a gallon of water a day, man.
Mm-hmm.
Salaki.
Did you check your phone too?
Con. What do you want that with? You wanted that with Zephaniah?
No. Just your whole point of who's doing the judgment. Like
Oh,
that.
yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? I think I have that somewhere, or did I leave it out? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Um,
That's just if you want to throw that in there. I
con.
just threw that to you.
So,
uh,
all right, Zephaniah 1:14 through 18, right? It's a day of
yeah.
darkness.
All right.
Darkness.
So
Go ahead. You can do it again.
you want to start reading it? Okay.
Go ahead.
And it reads, "The great day of the Lord is near, and it is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wastedness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers.
Mm.
And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy rendance. Is that pronounced that right? Remnants
I
of
think
all
so.
them that dwell in the land.
All right. So like I said, we see that the day of the Lord is wrath, destruction, desolation, darkness. You see what I'm saying? Fire, blood. You see what I'm saying? And right here, neither their silver nor gold shall be able to deliver them. Nothing can save. If you wasn't already lined up to be taken by him, nothing can get you out of this. Nothing. When it says, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. This land right here, let me see if they even say that. Mm, no. Uh, no. Okay, I'm gonna say it anyway. So the land is interchangeable with the people. Okay, the whole land shall be devoured by fire of his jealousy. It's not necessarily speaking of the land right here. It is speaking of the people. For he shall make even a speedy radiance of all them that dwell in the land. There's your separation. You see what I'm saying? This land has to deal with us. This land has to deal with the place. Okay, so land is interchangeable. Go ahead, Jay.
So yeah, I was gonna say, since you're on the blue letter, can you go in that word radiance to see radiance to see what that means?
Con.
I can understand what it means in the context, but I don't know what that word, the definition of
Exactly
that
me.
word is.
Right, right. It means contemplation, termination, full end, complete destruction, consumption, annihilation. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
rough. That's
Yeah,
rough.
that's gonna be tough.
And he said a speedy riddance. Oh, now I understand the word, like get rid of.
Like I said, I can understand it in context, but I didn't know what that word meant
Right,
by
right.
definition.
God. All right, let's get Zephaniah 3 and 8.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 8, and it reads, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, and Salakia, that I may assemble the kings, to pour upon them my
Oh, I was
indignation,
just
even all my fierce anger. All the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy."
Come. All the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. All the earth. Does all always mean all in scripture? Like
So, I
totality? Does it always mean all?
know.
No. But all of, if I say that I'm going to wipe out all of them over there, that's all of them, right? Remember in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, the earth will always abide. So it's not saying that he's going to get rid of the whole earth. See what I'm saying? Now let's go to Isaiah chapter 2, verse 12.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 2 and verse 12, and it reads, "For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low."
Everyone that's lifted up shall be brought low. So all these people in power will be brought down, right? If you are proud, he's going to bring you down. If you have this authority here, he's going to bring you down. Lord of hosts, y'all remember what host is, right? Host is an army, okay? Now, so we understand that the day of the Lord has wrath, destruction, fire, blood, sword, vengeance, all these things, right, come in the day of the Lord. Now, when he pulls us out, how is it going to look? Let's go to Isaiah 63, verse 1 through 4.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 63, you said 1 through 4,
Con,
and it reads, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra?" This
con,
is
so
that.
like, so dyed garments from Basra, right? Didn't it say that his vesture will be as dipped in blood? You see what I'm saying? So this one that has had these dyed garments from Basra. And who's this speaking of? Edom. Go ahead, read.
This that his glorious is his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. And that's a question. So like, let me read that better. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garment from Basra? This is that glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garment like him that treadeth in the wine-fat? I have trodden the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeem is come.
Con. See, so we see right here that this vengeance, part of this vengeance is going towards Edom now, specifically. You see what I'm saying? Remember, or we'll get to it, but remember, Edom only has one job. You see what I'm saying? To be the border of wickedness and a punishment for us, right? Or a sword for the Most High to be a punishment for us. That's their job. But now, coming out of Jacob's trouble, out of our judgment, now there is a redemption. Go to Isaiah, or no, you know what? Don't even go to Isaiah yet. We'll come back to Isaiah. Go to Revelation chapter 14, verse 19.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 19. And it reads, And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Yahweh.
Read. Read.
Oh, Salaki, I was reading it on mute. Salaki. The winepress was trodden without the city, and the blood came out of the winepress, even into the horse's bridle, by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
Con. Horse's bridle. What is that? That's the one that's up to his mouth, right? That you could control the horse.
Yep, that the little rings on the side of his face.
Con. So it doesn't say, sis, to be more clear, that he has one job. It's just the way scripture is laid out to where you see that their job is more so of a punishment to us. You see what I'm saying? So when you go to like Malachi, when you go to the book of, what is it, Proverbs? Is it Proverbs? And when you go to, you know what I'm saying, when it mentions them being the border of wickedness, so on and so forth. Here, let me find it for you. Salakia, y'all. She's just asking about certain things of Edom, in which case that's good because remember now this judgment is being executed on Edom. You could go to Job chapter 9, verse 24. And you could go to Psalms 17 and 13. I won't give you that one. And you could go to line it up with Malachi 1, 2 through 4. And let me see. You could do, there's a lot more. I'm just giving you like some right off the bat. You could do Psalms 140 and 1, 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2. You could go to Revelation chapter 11, verse 7, but I'll have to show you what the bottomless pit is. And you'll find that in Esdras, the bottomless pit. So I hope that helps you out. Kind of Yandabar. All right. So we just read Revelation 14, 19, and 20. Like I said, and the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse's bridle. So this is how much he's gonna destroy. Remember, some of these is analogies, some of these is metaphors, some of these is similitudes, and so on and so forth, right? So the horse's bridle, will we be walking just in a sea of blood to where we got to swim through, you know what I'm saying? Because it's as deep as all the way to a horse's mouth. And which horse's mouth? You know what I'm saying? Some horses could be 7 feet tall, some horses could be 6'5". You know what I'm saying? Like, which horse's mouth? So some of these are used in similitudes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? What it's saying is that he is going to destroy and kill a lot. All right. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 34, 1 and 2.
All right, Salakia, before you get away from that, can I give a sidebar on Revelation 14?
Go ahead.
Like, this is another way you can also show that Yahushua is subordinate to the Most High, because this proved that he didn't know the day of the hour. If you read, you will
Huh.
see that the Most High sent the angel to tell him when to stick in the sickle.
Huh.
So that's a sidebar for that. But
Huh.
back to
That's why that's why I was saying earlier, like, yep, this will also cut your Trinity doctrine. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, right.
and and it shows that he's not equal to the Father either, because he's still being told what to do in heaven. So that's
Huh.
really a cut.
Huh.
But back to Isaiah 63, and what verse would you like?
No. Isaiah 34, 1 and 2.
Isaiah 34. Salakim. The book of Isaiah, chapter 34, and you said 1 and 2?
Yep,
All
1 and
right.
2.
And it reads, Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Most High is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their Salakia, all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter.
He had delivered them to the slaughter. I'm going to give you some precepts, but I don't want you to read them, Jay. You can precept that with Isaiah chapter 13, 6 through 9. And the only reason I'm doing this is for time's sake. So Isaiah 13, 6 through 9. In the book of Psalms, chapter 137, 7 through 9. All right. Now, it says, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. How? Remember, like I said, the armies is not necessarily just terrestrial, right? Give me Jeremiah 51, 19 through 24.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51. And what was that?
19 through 24.
19 through 24. And it reads, The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war.
So,
For
like,
with thee,
who is the battle axe and weapons of war?
Israel.
verse 19. Yep.
Israel. So when he takes his vengeance, it's not just Yahweh and, like we said, terrestrial angels. It has to do with us. We are also the battle axe and the weapons of war for the Most High. The vengeance will be used, or the vengeance will be taken, and we will be the ones to initiate some of that vengeance. Go ahead, read.
Thou art my battle axe and weapon of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms, and
Mm.
with thee will I break in pieces the horses and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariots and his rider. With
Stop
thee
right there.
also
Stop right there. That just made me think of a scripture. Hold on, let's see. But I want a picture.
are you going to
There.
that Ecclesiastes?
Con, already know. All right, already know. What the hell is this? All right, y'all see this picture?
Con.
Who is this? Jay, this is Roosevelt, right?
Khan, I don't quite remember, but I believe that's what we went over in class.
Con. This is the President Roosevelt, right? They have a statue. I forget what state this is. Yeah, it's either in New York. It's somewhere on the East Coast, right? So they have a statue of Roosevelt riding a horse. Here is a black slave, and here is a so-called native slave. Y'all see that? America puts this stuff right in your face, and you don't even, and our people don't even care. You see what I'm saying? Don't even care. Let me go. Let me get the scripture for it. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 7. It says, I have seen servants upon horses. Who should be the servant? Not us right here. It should be him. You see what I'm saying? I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. This is this statue right here. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, they put that in your face, and then they have a picture right next to it of this Edomite cowboy or whatever with this brother arrested, walking right next to him in modern day. You see what I'm saying? So when we go back to Jeremiah 51, read verse 21 again.
And it reads, And with thee will I break in pieces the horses and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider.
And his rider, because they put themselves above us, and they are servants, and we're the ones walking. Read.
With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion, in your sight, saith the Most High.
Said the Most High, right? So now we're speaking of Babylon as well. So who is the main ones that received this cup of the wrath of the Lord? Edom and Babylon. Those are the main ones, right? Let's go to, and speaking of that, I know I gave y'all this the other day, but it's all good. Ezekiel 25 and verse 14.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 25, verse 14, and it reads, And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they
By
shall
the hand of my people Israel, which Jeremiah said is his battle axe and his weapon of war. Read.
and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Most High Yahweh.
Ha. You see what I'm saying? He gonna let us take that vengeance out. Let's go to the book of Obadiah, verse 15 through 18.
And that page is sticking together, so I could give me a second. You said Obadiah 15.
15 through 18. You reading on mute?
Salakia. And
Uh,
it reads, For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathens, as thou hast done. It shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunk upon the holy mountain, so shall all the heathens drink continually. Ye that they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as they and they should be as though they had not been. Salakia. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for a stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Most High Yahweh has spoken it.
See what I'm saying? So once this day of the Lord, they go through this process, they get this vengeance, they get this punishment and this judgment. You see what I'm saying? They have servitude, according to Isaiah chapter 14, right? For a period of time, and then there will be none remaining of the house of Esau. He is going to get rid of them. See what I'm saying? He is going to get rid of them. And that's why I pointed out, Sis Naziyar, that they only have one job. So like some of the precepts that I gave you shows that they are a punishment for us, but then after that, they're no longer needed. You see what I'm saying? Because they're going to get wiped out. Does that put it all together for you, sis?
Fine.
Let's get Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 12 through 16. Remember, this doesn't just apply to Edom, it applies to Babylon.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 12 through 15, and it reads,
16.
Your mother, 16, Salaki, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that beareth you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Most High, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished, and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourself in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrow, for she hath sinned against the Most High. Shoot against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundation are fallen. Her walls are thrown down, For it is the vengeance of the Most High. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done due unto her. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest, for fear of the oppressing sword. They shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land.
Khan. So there's going to be a separation. We are not meant to be together. Everyone shall flee to their own people and to their own land. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, he'll allow us to take this vengeance, even on Babylon. See what I'm saying? Even on Babylon. The other nations that is against Israel, we get to take vengeance. We get to exact vengeance, right? Let's go back one chapter 49 and 17 and 18.
Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 17 and 18, and it reads, Also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor city thereof, saith the Most High. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it.
So now we're talking about this people, and we're talking about a land and stuff like that when it comes to Babylon, right? So it shall be overthrown of Sodom and Gomorrah. Go to Isaiah 13 and 19.
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 19, and it reads, And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms and beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
As when he overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. If you look into the history of when Babylon gave up power, they did not go through this. So this prophecy has not came about. So the same thing in Jeremiah 49, 17, and 18, that prophecy has not came about. Okay? Because Babylon actually just gave it up. They didn't get destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah, but this is what is to happen to the place and to Edom. They'll be destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah. All right. Give me Revelations 18, 2 through 8.
And you can also read in the Encyclopedia Britannica, it'll tell you that that Babylonian, they just gave up their kingdom. They just who was that? Syria just walked through and took everything. And you said Revelation, Salakia, my bad. Revelation 19, you said?
18.
18, Salakia. Revelation 18, and where you want me to start at?
2 through 8.
2 through 8. 2 through 8. 2 through 8, Salakia. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the inhabitants of devils, and the whole of every foul spirit, and of a cage of every unclean and hated bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not her plagues.
So,
For her,
this is how you know this is future prophecy, because Babylon is already gone. Okay. We've read the prophecy in Isaiah 13 and Jeremiah 49. You see what I'm saying? Something that didn't happen to Babylon yet, right? But now it's talking about Babylon is fallen. You see what I'm saying? And it's telling you to come out of her. This is future. This is not in old time that this part of Revelation is speaking of. Understand? Go ahead, read.
For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Remember her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Most High Yahweh who judgeth her.
Khan. Therefore, Salaki, therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Is this a literal one day? No. Matter of fact, scripture equates one day to us is 1,000 years to the Lord. Is this a full 1,000 years? I don't think that equates that either. Or it might, because, like I said, the day of the Lord is a period of time. So that's kind of hard to determine. I don't want to make any assumptions. So it's just kind of hard to determine. But is it literally one day to us? No. This is a period of time, mourning, famine, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? This is period of time where these things go on. All right. Now, let's start to wrap this up. Let's go to Revelation chapter 7, verse 9, because this is how it's going to turn out.
Oh, you want me to start reading? You ready?
Come,
So like, because you was
yeah,
talking
yeah.
and you just
So
stopped.
I'm just saying this is how it's going to turn out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Let's wrap it up because we're up at
So
9
like,
o'clock. This is how it's
the
going to turn
book
out.
of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 9, it reads, After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne, and before the Lamb clothed with white robes, and palms in their hands.
Stop right there. Yeah, you can stop right there. So we see that there's white robes. They're in front of the throne, palms in their hands, so on and so forth. A great multitude that no man can number, right? And the precept for that is Second Esdras chapter 2, verse 40 through 47. All right. Now let's see what happens when it's over with. Give me First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 24 through 28. And we'll end it with this.
All right, this is 1 Corinthians 15, and you said what verses you want?
24 through 28.
24 through 28. And it reads, Then cometh the end when he shall be, Salaki, then cometh the end when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Yahweh, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power.
Okay,
For he,
stop right there. So Yahweh will turn back over the kingdom to the Most High after he takes care of all of this. All right, read.
for he must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith, All things are put under him, it is manifest that he is expected which did not all things under him. Salakia. Let me read that again. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith, All things are put under him, it is manifested that he is accepted which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subjected unto him that put all things under him, that Yahweh may be all in all.
That's another thing that'll kill your Trinity doctrine, because when this is said and done, Yahweh Shai will be unto subjection to the Most High. All right. So this is what that day of the Lord looks like. I hope y'all had kind of a clear understanding of what the judgment looks like and stuff like that, what the wrath looks like, and how this is going to come out. You see what I'm saying? The Most High will prevail. That's inevitable. Kwam Yasharala. All praises.
All praises.
Yasharala.
And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and then I'll leave it open. All right. Or I'll stop recording, I should say. And I'll leave it open.
All praises.